Welcome to the collective. It's about time to do some planting. It's March 3rd of the 2019 year, and I have the honor of being selected to provide seeds to grow plants that will be used to make produce at a local food bank. So I've allocated 100 starts, and they're going to be peppers and they're going to be tomatoes, and I'm going to try to select 100 out of all of this. So 50 maybe tomatoes, 50 peppers, and I'm going to use the method that I use that you've probably seen in other videos, where I use these storage bags, plastic ones, and a paper towel to germinate them. And then once they're germinated, I will stick them into the pots, so you don't have to transplant them. They're going to be 4.5 inch pots. So it's pretty easy what I do. I will typically just have all these bags, and then I'll take the seeds and I'll fold a half one so they fit in the bag. And I'll wet the paper towel. And some people pre-soak their pepper seeds and their tomato seeds for a few days. And if you want to, you can even do a thing where you take willow that's been water with willow branches in it, and you let that soak and make a tea, and then use that. And that's how you can also do a rooting compound. A natural one is to use willow root like that. And you know, some people are not for the chlorine water or whatever, but these are not going to be particularly just organic. So, you know, there's like chlorine or whatever. But I could just as easily use rainwater. And you know, since I am in the mood, why not try to make this as best as I can. Well, the notion is, if you got it, use it, right? So my greenhouse collects rainwater from the roof, and it gets collected into a large reservoir under the ground. And why not just get some unchlorinated water from our greenhouse and see what happens. All right. So here we are in my little sink contraption that uses a pump, and you just flip this switch on and it will grow and, you know, and turn the pumps on. I already have some rainwater here in these buckets, because you just turn on the water here. Turn the switch and water will come out. It's amazing stuff. So let's go and take this water. And there you go. Now we have unchlorinated, fresh, well, I don't know about fresh, but rainwater. And you can see where all of my 90 starts are going to go. Right in here. This is my current residence, my ghost peppers and my reaper. And some vanilla, and my orchids that I split from a previous video are all sitting there all happy now. And so yeah, I moved everything to the side, and then we're going to put those plastic bags on these heated mats, and then I'm going to put one of these trays over it, over that, so there's no light, and it's going to stay and be warm and sit there. And the tomatoes should germinate within the next few days, and then the peppers will probably take a week. Welcome back. After our little stint in the greenhouse, we now have, and we'll put this away, we now have rainwater that we can use for these. So that'll help with the organic part of what I like to try to do. And so I also found that they make organic plastic bags, and they break down. They're compostable, actually. And I was thinking on trying it, but I'm like, I don't know how they're going to do. You know, or they're going to decompose while the seeds are in there. So I don't know, but I think I'll try them next time because, you know, I'm not a big fan of using these plastic. Even though I'll use them over, it's like, you know, it's just, I think if they're better, friendlier alternatives, I'm going to try to use them. Anyway, let me get my glasses on. So if you imagine that this is going to get halfway, you're going to put the seeds in here in nice rows, because sometimes if you scatter them too much, they're going to overlap, and it's going to be a pain in the butt to get them out. But then you take this and you put it over there, so there's seeds in between that. That means you can plant these with pieces of paper towel in them if you want, because it's not going to hurt it. Or you can pick them out as best you can with the tweezers. That's fine too, so either tear them or not, it's all good. So we'll do that. So our first one was the Sun Gold. And we're just going to put these guys here. And again, this is my big surprise, was that this is, I'm doing this for a food bank. The seeds that I grow here are going to be used as food in the food bank for people at our local city. So I think that's going to be pretty fun. And what a nice adventure. And I'm going to help in the garden too. So I'm not going to grow these like in my own greenhouse. Well, I'm going to start them and host them in my greenhouse, but you know, when they get planted, they're going to go into the garden. And I want to space these out so that if their roots start growing, they're not going to go crazy. And I gather, like I said, these are only going to take like a few days to germinate. And these are my Sunkiss. And I'm not going to go through each one of these plants, but I thought you'd get a nice idea about, and I'm doing 5, 2, 3, 4. Oh, and I'm one short. That's nice. And I'm pretty sure that these guys do germinate pretty well. And as much as I'd love to plant them all, I just do not have room. I have room for about, you know, 100 plants. And I want some for myself. So there we are. Once we have these, then I fold them, because you're going to want to check on these every few days. And I'm going to squish them so you can get them squishy. So you can like get them nice and squishy because they're wet. And then of course put them in a bag. Now you want to label your bags, of course. And I like to label them with the germination. And I'm writing software that will let me track these. You know, so the history, and they're all gonna get serial numbers and everything. It'll be kind of fun. And that's what I'm calling my green thumb project. And that's going to be a nice little inventory challenge for myself. So there. I don't want to seal them, because I want to have a little air in each day or so. I'm going to check them. And you know, when the roots get like, you know, about 1 inch or so, you'll see, and there's a sprout, then you want to take that and put that in the pot. And I find that this is a good way to germinate and not be wasteful of your resources, so you don't have dead pots of soil with nothing. You don't know if they're going to grow or not. This, you know that they're going to grow. You put them in before the roots get too bad, and you know there's your plant. And I do the same thing for peppers. You can probably do other peppers as well. But what's going to happen, like I said, and I will take a quick break for a second. In conclusion, so these are going to go on a heated mat in the greenhouse, which is about 60 or better. And they're going to be wedged between 2 trays so that the light doesn't get in there. Because you just want them to germinate in a nice warm place that's moist. You want to know that the mats that you usually get, the seed mats, will not raise your temperature to 70 degrees. It will only increase the ambient temperature, you know, 5 to 10 degrees over what's already in the room. So if you have a 40-degree house, it's only going to be like 45, 50 increase with the seed mat. So that's something to consider when you get those. So I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to have another video, of course, when this is sprouted, and all of these are sprouted. Be sure to label them. And we'll go from there. And I hope you enjoyed this. Please hit the like and subscribe, would be fun. I'd appreciate it. Any comments you have, I'd like to hear them and see them. I do enjoy comments. And I hope to see you guys later. And we're on the last one. Poblano peppers. A few things to remember. If they get dry while they're in the trays, you can always use a squirt bottle to moisten them up. And you want to lay the towels out wet maybe beforehand and wring them out. You don't have to wring them so tight, you just want some water in them. But you may want to lay them out so that your hands don't get wet from seeds, towel seed, you know, getting wet. So you don't have wet hands. And I think those are the only two big ones. But I planted some extra ones because sometimes the germination rate is kind of crappy. And the good thing is you can always sell them at a plant's. And although I don't have a lot of room for that, I think that I can either put them in a, you know, there's always somewhere you can cram this stuff. So we'll see where we can fit them. And those won't need to be as long because they're going to be taken by somebody early on. So we wanted 15 in here because I wanted to plant. But yeah, I thought I'd show you a little bit more of that information. And see, you do that. You fold it, get a little squish, stick in the bag. Now all these can be piled up on top of each other a little bit, you know, because the heat's going to conduct, and it's already going to be in a nice warm greenhouse that's heated. So that's where I do my cheating. That's where my superpower comes in. So there, we'll put these in 2 trays because I have 2 laid out with the heating pad over them. And actually, yeah, I won't put the heating. I won't put these directly on the heating pad. I'll put a tray over it and then a heating pad. So you'll see when I get all these laid out. But until next time. Like I said, like, share, leave some comments. Alright, if I'm going to do a proper tutorial, then I'm going to do a proper one, right? So, I use these. You can use another one of these trays if you want. But I use this. I put the heating pad on here. And then I put this on. And then I put the seeds on. And then I'll just put that over like that, and that's how that works. And every day or I will check and make sure they're wet, make sure they're okay and they haven't sprouted. If a few sprouted, I'll maybe give it one more day, and then, you know, you don't want them to get too long and too embedded in the paper towel. But you can pick them off, and if a little bit of paper towel comes with you, that's fine too. It doesn't matter. It's going to be fine. So I hope that clarifies a few things.